Hey guys, this is Tim with CrossFit Ramon, coming back to you with the third phase of our scoliosis videos here. So working with some scoliosis clients, I came to you the first one, we talked a little about structural versus functional scoliosis. On the second video, we talked a little bit about postural stresses and how, for example, sleeping on your side and having your body sag into it, if we're going the wrong way, that can increase that scoliosis if we move the other direction. So we're actually utilizing that sleeping posture to help the scoliosis. We can gain some advantage on that. So we're talking about how those postural stresses work and how to use those advantages. Today, I'm going to dive in a bit to creating an environment for movement in the back. And so this is something where, as we get into scoliosis, a lot of times we'll see there's a lot of adhesions and things locking that back up, so that if the spine's not moving, it's going to be really hard to create corrections. And so what we want to do is look at some things that we can utilize to create some movement in the back. So the first things that I'd recommend in getting into the movement in the back is just a simple double lacrosse ball taped together. So I've got two lacrosse balls taped together and having a single lacrosse ball. In here, we can use these on either side of the spine and start to work on some different movements with that. So here, basically what I would look at is putting that into the area where we have the curvature in there. We set it so that it's one ball on either side of the spine here, and then either laying on the floor, or we could use a bench like this and tilt it up a little bit. We can get into laying over the top of that and then moving the spine. Here we can also move the spine side to side around that. And what that's going to do is going to kind of lock those tissues in place while we're moving the spine and getting those tissues to move around the spine. So doing that with some type of body work is really helpful, getting that to open up. But not all body work is going to be created equal, because if I'm just massaging it and whatever, not creating the movement of the spine, I'm not going to get the full benefit that I'm looking for on this. So I don't want to do that. The single lacrosse ball can be really helpful. A lot of times we'll have shoulder blade that's locked up on one side, sometimes moving into almost frozen shoulder. And so then we can get into that one, put the lacrosse ball alongside the shoulder blade and do some reaches overhead, that type of thing, to again get that movement in the shoulder blade while we're locking down those muscles. So again, getting the muscles held in place there and moving the tissues around it. So I want to bend the spine around that, bend it side to side, forward and back a little bit, get some different movement in the spine. So again, we're just creating that environment for movement. So those are some of the big things as we're getting started on doing some therapeutics on here. The second thing that I wanted to hit on today is that I find there's one static stretch that I use. Most of the time I like more of a rhythmic stretch, because we seem to get more out of that, and we'll go over that more in later videos. But if this one, as I go into the one static stretch I'll recommend is doing a sideline stretch over something. Out of the tools I've found, I end up using a track wheel actually. This one's a bit aggressive with the balls on top of it, so I'll use a thick mat, lay it over the top of it. I'm going to show you this on top of the bench. Normally I would have someone do this on the floor, but here, just to stay in the video, I'm going to stay on that. So here, I'm going to come up, reach the arm up over there, and so here, we're starting to open up this side of the rib cage, and I can relax into this and just let the spine kind of settle into the opposite position of what it's used to. And so this should help start to alleviate some of the stress. I find this one a lot of times as my clients have started working with this and doing a little bit with the lacrosse balls, that those two will go a long ways towards creating more comfort in the back as they're working through that. So I hope this helps. Have a great day. Thanks.